Is this a police state? Can we turn it around? Let's ask a man who turned around one of the greatest cities in the world, put the dons of 5 mafia families behind bars, and then after 9/11, after Al-Qaeda attacked New York, he helped to bring that city back to the great city it was under his mayoral leadership. Welcome to Rob Schmitt Tonight, Mayor Rudy Giuliani.
Sebastian, it's great to be with you, always.
So I want to go from the micro level all up to the strategic and what you expect in the last 10 months. But can I just drill down on the one story that is New York specific first? This decision by a judge just 2 days ago concerning Daniel Penny, that this case is going to go to trial. This individual who saved others when a man said, "I'm going to go to prison or die here in this subway train." Can you imagine that case going to trial if New York were run by people who believed in law and order?
No, I cannot believe that going to trial other than in a heavily Marxist-influenced judiciary, and one that's a completely political judiciary. To think that the New York judiciary is a merit appointment judiciary would be absurd. They're appointed by the leaders of the Democratic crooked parties in each of the counties. I mean, you can't get more low-down political than that. They're not selected by the people. The joke is that we elect them. So I went to vote this year in the election. There were 5 judicial candidates. Like in Russia in the old days or China today, they had no opponents. So who selected the judges? The Democratic leader of Manhattan, which is part of one of the most crooked cities in America. So what we get, the best we get, are very, very rigid Marxists who believe that criminals have rights and that victims are there to be victimized. And that's what they've done to New York. And all you have to do, if you think I'm exaggerating, look at when I was mayor and look now, and you're going to see a totally different city. Totally different city. And if you don't...
Let's go from the streets of New York, the subway, that specific story, to the national one that has to do with our election, President Trump. We have this latest news. Not only did we find out that the likes of the Attorney General, Letitia James of New York, was traveling to the White House to meet with Biden officials, we now know that Fani Willis from Georgia sent her paramour, who she hired as a prosecutor against President Trump, to meet on numerous occasions with the Biden administration, and latest revelations that he spent monies he was receiving from the county as a prosecutor to pay for what, junket trips with his boss? How is this not a conflict of interest? How does this not force Fani Willis to recuse herself, Mr. Mayor?
Sebastian, I think it's much bigger than that. And I'm no longer part of the legal team. I'm a defendant that Fani Willis wants to put in jail for the rest of my life. And but if I was part of the legal team a long time ago, we would have made a motion for denial of civil rights. This is a collusion, very much like how they started, the collusion of Ukrainian interference, and then the collusion of suppressing the hard drive, and then the collusion of trying to make the conversation with Zelensky illegal, when the real illegal conversation was the conversation of Biden when he was getting his son and the crooked organized crime multimillionaire who paid them $10 million off the hook. This is a conspiracy to deprive him of his civil rights, and it should be before one judge. Altogether, we should get the whole thing dismissed, because it's not one singular case. They're all together. Yeah. Not cases. You don't indict someone 4 times in 1 year. Go find me another person in America indicted 4 times this year.
I need to show you this tweet, Mr. Mayor. This is a little portion of the transcript from the E. Jean Carroll court case just 2 days ago. Alina Habba, one of the president's attorneys, asks E. Jean Carroll if if she's a fabulous lawyer, asks E. Jean Carroll if she deleted evidence pertinent to the case. E. Jean Carroll's lawyer admits that yes, she did. The lawyer calls for an objection, and then the judge, Mr. Mayor, says, despite the fact that the plaintiff admitted to deleting evidence, ordered the comments from Ms. Haber to be struck from the record and the jury to disregard them. Why would a judge do that if the plaintiff has deleted evidence pertinent to that case?
Well, I believe that's the same judge that would not allow President Trump to go to his mother-in-law's funeral. I've never heard of that. I've been in the federal court system, I think, since before it was started. I have never heard of a judge that would do that, and I'll tell you his name. His name is Lewis Kaplan, and he's a disgrace to what is the greatest trial court in America, the Southern District of New York. His prejudice in this case is just foaming out of his mouth. It's a horrible thing to watch. And this was a good judge at one time, but something has happened to him, as has happened to a lot of our old friends, really. They've become afflicted. I think it's an illness. It prevents them from logical thinking. He has done everything he can to give Trump an unfair trial, but to not let him go to his mother-in-law's funeral, that's just cruel. That's being cruel.
Yeah. Whether it's the judge in the E. Jean Carroll case, whether it's Judge Engeron in that absurd case about the president's finances, or whether it's Judge Chutkan in D.C., who was a colleague of Hunter Biden at the same law firm for 14 years, all of them, they're not judges, they're political actors. Unheard of. I want to salute you, Mr. Mayor. Find out how he turned America's greatest city around. The book is Leadership, and please support America's Mayor Rudy Giuliani at his Give, Send, Go. So